You can be smart, dedicated, and even talented, but if your communication doesn't make people pay attention, it all loses its power. The truth is, there are 5 communication secrets that literally give you an unfair advantage over anyone else, because when you know how to apply them, you don't need to fight for space, you conquer it naturally. Now imagine the impact of using proven techniques that make your presence impossible to ignore in any conversation. Write the phrase in the comments, "I deserve to be heard," to mark that you are ready to conquer this power. Secret number 1. Storytelling that generates authority. I clearly remember an important meeting where I walked in prepared with every possible number and data point. I believed this would be enough to impress. But halfway through the presentation, I noticed that everyone's eyes were distracted, everyone was on their phones, and almost no one was paying attention. It was one of those moments when I realized that knowledge without connection has no impact. Sometime later, in a similar situation, I decided to do something different. Instead of starting with a gushing information, I began by telling a true story that resonated with the problem we were facing. The effect was immediate. The entire room fell silent. People leaned forward, and I discovered that the power of storytelling isn't just to move, but to create instant authority. Research by neuroeconomist Paul Zak shows that stories activate areas of the brain responsible for empathy and memory, which explains why a good narrative holds attention much more powerfully than any single piece of data. Since then, I've stopped trying to prove my worth with cliches like "I'm committed" or "I'm a good leader." Instead, I've started conveying this through real-life experiences like the time I stayed late helping a colleague with a challenge that wasn't even my responsibility. This kind of story completely changes how others perceive you. It's not about being more interesting, it's about being memorable. And I want you to think now, when was the last time you told a story that truly revealed who you are? Secret number 2. Smart humor creates quick connection. For a long time, I believed I needed to be serious all the time to be respected. I thought authority was built with a rigid posture, a closed expression, and a controlled tone of voice. Until, at a work event, a mentor told me something that completely changed my thinking. He said that lightness isn't a lack of seriousness. It's a sign of emotional mastery. After that day, I started using humor strategically. It wasn't just telling jokes, but offering lighthearted comments, subtle smiles in tense moments, or even deliberately exaggerating details everyone knew weren't that important. And the results were immediate. People relaxed, opened up more, and conversations became much more productive. Research published in the Harvard Business Review shows that clever use of humor increases the trust others place in you by up to 30%. This means that when you're able to bring lightness without losing seriousness, you convey security and closeness at the same time. These days, when I sense a tense atmosphere, I make a point of breaking the ice with a lighthearted phrase, something like, "Looks like we're saving the planet here," accompanied by a half smile. That alone completely transforms the energy of the conversation. And I want you to think with me, when was the last time a simple comment, made at the right moment, completely changed the course of a situation? Secret number 3. Open-ended questions create deep dialogues. For a long time, my conversations were superficial. I'd always ask things like, "Is everything okay?" or "Did you like it?" and get the same short yes or no answers that killed any chance of real connection. I believed I was being attentive, but in practice, I was just repeating patterns that led nowhere. It wasn't until I started studying effective communication that I realized the power of open-ended questions. Researchers at Stanford University found that these types of questions increase the emotional intensity of responses by up to 60%. And when I started applying them, I noticed something changed. Instead of asking, "Did you like it?" I'd ask, "What caught your attention most?" or "How did you feel at that moment?" People truly opened up, talked more, revealed their emotions, and, most importantly, felt heard. Today, I use open-ended questions as a bridge to create deep dialogue. If I want a real connection, I leave space for the other person to fill in their ideas, feelings, and stories. It's simple to apply. Next time you meet someone, instead of saying everything's fine, try asking what's been exciting you lately, or even what would you do differently if you could. You'll be surprised at the difference in the tone of the conversation. I want to hear from you. What's the most memorable question someone has ever asked you in a conversation? Write it in the comments, because sharing it might inspire others to improve their own interactions. Secret number 4. Turn criticism into social resilience. I'll never forget a situation where I was publicly criticized for something that wasn't even my fault. My first reaction was to defend myself, to respond, and even to attack back. But for some reason, in that moment, I took a deep breath, held back the urge to react, and responded calmly. The result was surprising. Instead of leaving that conversation weakened, I gained respect. This episode made me understand that true strength in communication isn't always having the last word, but maintaining control when everything invites you to lose your balance. Techniques used in behavioral therapy show that when you reframe criticism with emotional intelligence, you gain not only more balance, but also more influence. Criticism is only powerful if you let it in. Today, when I receive criticism, I apply a simple technique. First, I ask myself, does this criticism say more about the person who gave it, or is there actually something I can improve? If it's ill-intentioned, I respond politely and move on. If it's constructive, I thank them and take note. This completely changes the dynamic because it shows that you're not easily shaken and, at the same time, mature enough to grow with what makes sense. I remember a colleague trying to demoralize me in a meeting. Instead of reacting, I praised his point of view and redirected the conversation to what really mattered. The mood instantly changed, and I left the room feeling more respected than when I entered. Now I want to know, how do you react when someone criticizes you? Do you take it personally, or do you respond gracefully? Secret number 5, holding the space, the power of truly listening. One of the most memorable moments of my life was when a friend, in the middle of a serious conversation, said to me with teary eyes, "You're the first person who's ever truly listened to me." And the curious thing is, I didn't do anything special. I just remained silent, let him speak without interrupting, and showed my presence. In that moment, I realized that truly listening is much rarer and more powerful than it seems. Carl Rogers' humanistic psychology shows that deep active listening creates emotional security because it conveys to the other person that they are important and can be who they are without fear of judgment. This builds genuine trust, and trust is the foundation of any lasting connection. Many people think that communicating well means speaking well, but the truth is that, in many cases, communicating well means knowing how to remain silent at the right time. Today, I apply this to every important conversation. When someone talks to me, I resist the urge to mentally prepare my next response. I just listen, pause briefly, nod, and sometimes just say, "Tell me more about that." This simple habit completely changes how people perceive me because they feel they can let their guard down. And when someone feels this way about you, it's almost impossible not to create a deep connection. I want you to think now, when was the last time someone really listened to you without rushing, without judgment, just being present? It was valuable to you, wasn't it? It's just that those who know how to truly listen can transform any conversation into an unforgettable experience. You no longer need to feel ignored or force respect in every conversation. When you start applying these communication secrets to your daily life, you'll notice that people react differently, your words gain weight, and your presence becomes effortlessly noticeable. It's not about speaking louder or trying to dominate by force. It's about speaking with intention and using strategies that make anyone want to pay attention to you. Now it's your turn. Choose one of these techniques and try it today in a simple conversation, whether at work, at home, or even at a coffee shop. Notice how the energy shifts when you put what you've learned into practice. And if this video was valuable to you, like it, share it with someone who's constantly being ignored, and write in the comments which of these secrets you'll apply first. This simple gesture could be the beginning of a shift that will transform your way of communicating forever.